We're going on a little adventure. I've realized that I watch too many photography and videography YouTubers for my own good. Like, it's actually starting to affect my mental health. I know a lot of creators have joked about gas, but I think it's a serious problem, or at least it is for me. And I've realized a lot of it just comes down to comparison. I see people creating with this incredible high quality gear. I look at the content they're producing, and then I look at what I'm creating, and I see a stark difference. And I think, if only I had the tools that they had, that camera, that lens, maybe I would be able to get on their level. And then this comparison rapidly turns into a hyperfixation on buying new gear. I'll start drooling over new equipment. I will binge watch YouTube videos until my eyes hurt. I will read every review and feel as though I will never be good enough until I own that piece of equipment. And that's where I'm at right now. It's actually really noisy out there. I just found out about the release of the Canon EOS R8 and became obsessed. I'm currently shooting on the Canon RP, and although it's my baby, I love it so much. There are definitely some limitations to it, and these are limitations that I feel like the Canon R8 addresses. And I think it's fine to do research and be really interested in what else is upcoming on the market, but not to the point of hyperfixation. Because I tell you, I did nothing else yesterday.
You shouldn't know that.
Did nothing else. Look at my YouTube watch history. It's literally review videos for hours straight. And I recognize that that's not healthy. So that brings us to why I packed up every single piece of gear that I own and dragged Darren out of bed this morning on an adventure. Because I had to remind myself how hyperfixated I was on the Canon RP before I got it. I would sit there watching these gorgeous videos from all of the big YouTubers, just in awe of the content they were able to create with this camera. And I realized that I have yet to shoot anything quite like the inspiration videos that convinced me to buy the camera. So what makes me think I would be able to do so with a better camera? Most of my gear envy comes down to my content not feeling quite high quality enough or cinematic enough. And so this morning I wanted to take the time to just really slow down and test a few things to see if I can make my camera do great things. And if I've done this right, some of the B-roll that you see throughout this video will have been a result of me experimenting. So let's do this. First is ND filters. I could not figure out why my daytime footage just looked like absolute crap. Everything was super overexposed, the absolute opposite of cinematic. I really couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I found that I always had to really dial up the aperture. Then it made me upset because I was like, what was the point of getting really fast apertures if I couldn't use them? And a little research helped me realize that a lot of these YouTubers were actually using ND filters. And so I bought two. And because I have 4 lenses, I actually bought some little step-up rings. And these basically function as sunglasses for your camera. This enables you to lower the exposure while still taking advantage of a low aperture. In other words, being able to have that blurry background. You can see even just holding this up. And these ones are actually both variable ones. They get darker and lighter as you spin them. So the second thing that I am experimenting with is my frames per second. you look at a lot of the cinematic B-roll, everything is really slowed down and creamy. And when I normally shoot, I shoot with 30 frames per second, which means that when I slow it down, it gets kind of choppy. So I want to experiment with filming a lot more B-roll in 60 frames per second so that I can slow it down and have the footage still look pretty smooth. I will admit that's another reason I've been eyeing a new camera, because apparently the R8 can shoot in 120, maybe it was even 180 frames per second. But I've seen people shoot amazing B-roll with the Canon RP shooting 60 frames per second, so there's no reason why I can't do it myself. First, I'll show something shot in 30 frames per second. You'll see like it's very realistic, which is fine, but it doesn't have that like dreamy quality to it. Then this is what it looks like when you slow said footage down further. It's not very smooth, it's kind of choppy. And then this is 60 frames per second. You tired over there?
Just doing it.
The next thing that we're going to be experimenting with is slowing it down, not just in like the camera movements to, you know, make it slow and creamy, but also not rushing the process so that I can think about new angles to get a new perspective, experiment with an environment, a setting, and challenging myself to make it work. The next thing we're going to experiment with, I'm a little embarrassed because it is another symptom of my G.A.S, this gimbal, which I fixated over, obsessed over, felt like I needed and it would change my life. Bought it for how much?
$400 something, $450.
$450. And we've used it once. And that is it. I even went as far as buying this L bracket so I could mount the camera vertically on it. I watched videos on like which would be the best gimbal for my camera, all of it. And we haven't really taken the time to actually learn how to use it properly, minus me stressing over balancing it a couple times. But today we're gonna play. So I need to balance the gimbal now. I'm gonna switch this for my phone. Hold tight. Okay. So first we're going to attach this. Let's see if I can remember how to do this without a YouTube video teaching me how. Quick release. This? Nope. Already off to a great start. That feels right.
Shows this side up, the upside's pointing down.
What? What's this up? What?
See, this is the upside, so that's how it should be, but the camera's facing the wrong direction now.
Yeah, that looks better. Rah! Yeah. Okay, turn it on. And it should give it a little shake.
Oh, I did it! No!
It's supposed to shake.
No, I did it.
It's supposed to be like as it tests. This is POV. So it basically shows my POV. It's basically wherever my eyes are. And it basically just goes straight ahead. Okay, and oh, can you go back? Oh, that's really scary. Okay, so then we turn the POV off and we've got pan follow. Look how smooth that is. Okay, it's like I'm pan following you. If you still want to take nice small movements.
Whoa, look at this.
Way. Woo! Wait, let me film you. Woo! Jiggle. the whole purpose of this gimbal, we bought it a year and a half ago when we went to Abu Dhabi because I thought it would be the perfect tool to get all of this great footage and make an amazing cinematic vlog of our trip. But we bought it probably, what, 2 days before we left?
Yeah.
We ran all over trying to find one after I did a bunch of YouTube research. And we brought it. It took up like half the space in our luggage. And then we never took it out once. We brought the box that it came in too. Since we're going on a second trip all through Europe, I'm hoping that we can practice more with the gimbal, actually figure out how to use it best, and we can make that trip really cinematic and epic. So here's hoping. Are you okay? That's why we need a travel tripod. Speaking of gas, I was looking at the Peak Design travel tripods because they weigh like 2 pounds, so they're perfect for your luggage.
Well, we can't take this in the luggage.
So it's like, it expands to that size.
We're gonna have to take that tripod on the trip.
Yeah, but guess how much it is? Just guess. Yeah. So the final thing that I'm going to be experimenting with to make my footage seem more cinematic is actually going to be done post-production, and it's going to be playing with color grading the footage. A lot of the things that we see that seem super cinematic and like something you would see in a movie just has this like color depth and flavor to it. So I'm gonna see if I can play around with this footage and just give it a little bit more character than what comes right out of the camera. So we'll see how that turns out. Maybe I'll be showing you while I do this voiceover. I actually think that this process was super rewarding.
It was good.
It was really nice. I think that we're gonna try to make a little weekly habit of creating YouTube videos out in the wild and giving us a chance to actually play with the gear.
Monday madness.
Monday madness. It has to be more calming. Monday, we'll come up with something better. I think that it already has made me fall in love with my camera a little bit more and appreciate what I have a little bit more. So I think it's a good practice to try to curb my desire and can help me put off needing a new camera a little bit longer. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you suffer from G.A.S. too as a content creator, photographer, videographer, and we'll see you next time.